Deuce. Hey, Morgan. I'm rooting for y'all. Let's go, Kings. Deuce and Mo. Give me a hell yeah. Deuce and Mo. Give me a hell yeah. Give me a hell. Give me a hell yeah. Give me a. Give me a hell yeah. 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 Test 1, 2, 3. Why is our audio messed up? We'll wait and see if it gets better, cause oh my god. Okay. Okay guys, hang on. Give me a hell yeah. Give me a hell yeah. Give me a.
Call me a fucking magician. Because guess what? Guess what? You guys in the chat were saying, Deuce is trolling. Deuce is probably freaking out. No. I stayed composed like I was DeMar DeRozan. Shot clock winding down. No movement. Zion on me. Turn around jumper. Bang. That's what I just did. Fixing that shit. Give Deuce Mason a hell yeah right here, right now.
Give me a hell yeah.
Oh, man, that was clutch, Morgan Reagan. Give Deuce Mason some love.
Love.
No. Give me some love.
Love.
My goodness. I mean, hit record here. Do we need to start it again? The intro and everything?
If you want.
Just feel good so people get it?
It's up to you, Deuce.
You know what's amazing? Sometimes the best thing with audio issues, if you have problems, just unplug everything. I unplugged all the cords. I turned it off, turned it back on, and what do you know? We go, we are live, baby. Let's go.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, they tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo. Hey. Do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the par, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the thing. So
We
do it for Deuce and Mo. Deuce and Mo.
Happy Wednesday night. Some technical snafus will not stop Deuce and Mo because we are live after every single King game, especially after 3 straight wins. It wasn't pretty the whole time, but how about the Kings getting it done in the Big Easy?
What up, Deuce?
Oh.
Hey, Morgan.
Aye.
I'm rooting for y'all.
Yeah.
Let's go, Kings.
Oh, yes. Appreciate you guys being with us. We are live in San Francisco, the site of the All-Star game. No Kings in the All-Star
No.
festivities, except the G League up next game. Isaac Jones, Scalabissiere. Appreciate you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. We got a back-to-back. Both games against New Orleans. I don't have the fog machine here, but pretend I did.
Because you would have fogged it up, right?
No doubt.
Okay.
You fog up.
You know, we have to question you sometimes.
I get it.
Yeah.
But you fog up because
Fog up.
our guy Keon Ellis, man.
Fog that shit up.
3 on Ellis.
That's the tough part too. When we're not in studio, we can't share the interview that we
It's
had
all
with
good.
him. I mean, as soon as we came into the interview, I said, and now we're joined by Keon Ellis, and Deuce cuts me off in the middle of the interview and goes, no, that's 3 on Ellis to you. Is that how you said it?
Yeah, pretty much. So just picture there's music going. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun. You keep going. Dun, dun,
Dun.
dun, 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 dun. Do the song.
I know, I kind of forget it.
Just make up your own version of it.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Na-na-na-na-na-na. Oh, no.
Oh, and how about Keon Ellis tonight? 27 points, 22 in the first.
Da-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Oh, and DeMar, shot clock winding down. Buckets! And the Kings have won 3 in a row. Can you believe it? How's that? All right.
It was good. I wish you gave me the right beat, though, because
I don't know how it goes.
I know you don't.
I'm vibing in those moments. We got a lot to get to. Well, not a lot, but yeah, we got to talk about the game. And the Kings make a signing. Yes. Breaking news at this hour. Shams Charania reporting the Kings have signed free agent point guard Markelle Fultz. The former #1 pick is now a member of the Sacramento Kings. Some much-needed point guard depth. We'll talk about him, too. But let's start the show. Deuce Mo, we're coming down in wait. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Just helps us grow. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Deuce Mo coming down in 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, the podcast that you know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, they tell you what they know.
Welcome into the Deuce and Mo podcast, recording this on a Wednesday night from downtown San Francisco. We just wrapped up Kings pre- and post-game on NBC Sports California, so we are here breaking down what went down tonight in the Big Easy. The Kings taking on a Pelicans team that were losers of 9 in a row and make it 10. Sacramento, it wasn't always pretty for them tonight, just like this intro hasn't been pretty. But let me just tell you this, Sacramento got off to a sloppy start. 10 turnovers in the first half. You're going, oh no, is this another 20-plus turnover night? Zion's killing us. We're having trouble defending. Well, they cleaned it up in the second half. Just 1 turnover the rest of the game, and Keon Ellis was a force tonight. 27 points. He knocked down 7 of 11 from downtown. DeMar DeRozan coming up big with 24. And Zach LaVine, welcome to the party. An aggressive second half. After just 4 shots in the first half, he finishes very strong for the Sacramento Kings, and they get the first win in New Orleans, 119-111, with another game coming tomorrow night, the final game before the All-Star break. I'm Deuce Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. This podcast presented by our friends over at Sentivo Vineyards and Winery. Morgan Reagan, how you doing?
I'm feeling good. Look, it's kind of like what Malik Monk said after the game. It doesn't matter any night in the NBA what the team is like, what their record is like. It's tough to win in the NBA, and they have some really good individual players that didn't just go off on the Sacramento Kings. You know, we don't have to sit here tonight and talk about CJ McCollum being a Kings killer for once.
Morgan,
What?
we should note this. That's a big thing you just mentioned. CJ McCollum did not hit a 3 tonight against the Kings.
Yeah! No, let's not talk about anything else then. That is all we are talking about tonight.
Dating back to last year, the guy was 31 of 49 from 3 against the Kings.
Whoa.
63%. Tonight, I did the quick math. 0 for 5, 0% shooting from downtown from CJ McCollum tonight. Yeah, this game was definitely bizarre. I felt like it was closer than it needed to be.
Sure.
You still see some of the warts with Sacramento, especially defensively, allowing 70 points in the paint. But I don't know. Finding ways to just get wins right now when they still don't know each other, largely with trying to implement LaVine and LaRavia, all the stuff we keep talking about, and Monk playing a different type of role. Even Keon learning while you're winning, I'll take it.
Yep.
I'll take it. There's definitely things to address. There's things to clean up, but you win 119, 111.
Well, and something I mentioned in the postgame show was just like, they might not be able to practice right now, but at least they're playing shorthanded teams. They're playing teams with bad records. And that is where you'd want to be in this situation. Because when you're playing against some of these tougher teams and you're trying to practice what you need to do, just life's going to be so much more difficult. But when you can actually execute some of the things that you're trying to implement, whether it's as simple as a DHO action, or you're just trying to figure out your timing of how someone relocates with you when you drive to the basket, or even your timing as an individual of when you should shoot the ball. Zach LaVine, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Zach LaVine, I was very pleased by what I saw in the second half, even though he was missing his three still. He knocked down a couple. We're watching the game in the first half and going, he is passing up good looks. Like, he got some looks in the corner that I felt like he could have launched. And seeing some of the threes he knocked down, the 2 threes he did knock down in the second half, you're going, yeah, you don't need much space. I think he is still trying to get comfortable, and he's doing the whole, like,
Be a good teammate.
I'm going to make the right choice all the time. It's like, no, sometimes the right choice is not passing up a good look, because you are a 44% three-point shooter this year. In Chicago this season, you're 43.5% on catch-and-shoot threes. For your career, you're a 39% three-point shooter. It's going to drop, but I'll tell you what, you can't make threes if you pass up threes. And he passed up some for tougher looks, and that just – you got to keep the defense honest. And I also thought Sacramento didn't do a good enough job at getting him involved off ball, like they did such a good job in that Dallas game. He had 17 points against Dallas. 14 of those came in the paint, and it was just off ball movement and in transition. I think they need to make sure to find some consistency there. I did like his approach to the second half. It felt like he came out like, I got to be aggressive. He got to the free throw line. He ends up in this game with 23 points. He had 7 assists, 11 of 11 at the line. Yeah,
it's like you said, you look at what he was doing in that first half and then how he kind of approached the second half. I loved it. I love seeing him not only attack the rim, but also just looking confident in his shot, even if it is from deep. I don't care. He is such a quick release. Like, have a few misses. Do what you got to do, but take it. Make sure you're still looking for yours. He also had a really nice pass to DeMar DeRozan toward the end of a shot clock, and DeMar ended up dribbling it out. He felt the pressure on. But my point to even just that pass and that example alone is that he's someone that can find the open man. And I also love that about him. And I love that can be his mentality at times. But it's just going to be better for the Kings if he's also looking to get his.
The Kings were really sloppy with the ball in the first half, 10 turnovers, and it made me a little nervous because that's been an issue. Coming into tonight, in 3 of the 4 games with LaVine, they've had 18-plus turnovers. Yeah. Well, during the season before the trade, they were at 13 turnovers. Brendan Nunes put that stat out, and I was like, man, yeah, this hurts you. I mean, obviously, turnovers are not good, but it just hurts your defense too, right? And the Kings have been a good transition defensive team. Well, that's hard to be a good transition defensive team if you're turning the ball over 20, 21 times in a game. It's just tough to win games that way. And they won last game against Dallas despite the fact they had all those turnovers. So you have 10 in the first half, 1 in the second half. It seems like the guys are getting more comfortable out there. I felt like the ball movement, although was not perfect tonight by any means, it was the best it's been since the trade.
It was inconsistent. That was something you and I kind of pointed out. It was like the inconsistency was there, but it didn't matter because it took a step. You could tell like they're growing. There was growth with the way that they were slinging the ball around, moving it around the horn, moving without the basketball, and just like they weren't thinking so much. But Deuce, I bet you a lot of that is because they were taking care of the basketball. I mean, we talked about how difficult it is to get things done and find a flow and even get back on the defensive end if you're turning the ball over every single possession. So I think taking care of the basketball also helped them kind of swing that ball around early.
I do think that's the biggest adjustment for LaVine going forward, is just making quicker decisions. When I talk about him like passing up shots or pump faking too much, it's also passing faster, 0.5 decisions. Get that ball moving. And you see guys who have been in the system for a minute, like Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis, Sabonis, those guys have no problem with it. Gets a little sticky at times. And it's not to say LaVine played an up-tempo offense that moved the ball in Chicago this year. Like, they get up and down the floor. It's just, again, like Morgan's saying, you're playing with different teammates. So an encouraging sign to see just one turnover in the second half of this game for Sacramento. Why haven't we talked about our guy, Keon Ellis, tonight?
3 on Ellis. Get
Morgan,
it right.
Keon Ellis tonight.
That was fun.
22 points in the first half.
Fun.
He had 27 in the game. He played just under 30 minutes. He was 10 of 14 from the field, including 7 of 11 from downtown. He also had 2 blocks, 1 steal, 5 rebounds. What stood out to you about Keon?
I loved the way that he came in and was an instant spark on both ends of the floor. You look at what he was doing from the offensive side, it was just that shot was pretty, and it was pretty every time. And it was pretty with his decision-making with it. And then on the other end of the floor, just being handsy, being active, coming up on guys, closing out the right way. And even if he missed a closeout, he would recover. I forget who that was on, where he came out. It might have been on Alvarado.
Yeah, and he blocked the shot and then came back the other end and knocked down a 3-ball.
Yes. So I guess my point is, yes, sure, I could look at the threes and be like, I'm so glad Keon made all these threes. I just felt like Keon's all-around game was absolutely amazing tonight. I think he was the best player on the floor for the Sacramento Kings. What?
I was just saying I said that earlier.
Did you say that in
No,
this?
on our post game.
I know you did.
I know, you're just stealing my takes now.
I mean, but every time I have to say, Deuce said on the post game, we said this.
I said Keon Ellis is the best player on the floor tonight, and you just had to, you just said it verbatim.
Okay.
So you agree with me? Is that what you're saying? Thank you. Yes, Morgan, you know what else I liked about him tonight? You talk about knocking down the threes when he does defensively. He just doesn't hesitate on the three-point shot. We talk so much about LaVine's three-point shot coming in to Sacramento. Dude, Keon's shooting 45% from three this year. Last year was 41%. Not a liability at all offensively, and it's not like a one-trick pony. I was impressed tonight with his ability to attack closeouts. Like, he had one where there was a closeout, he sidestepped, hit a 3. He had another one where he put the ball on the floor, had a floater with great touch. He had another one, put the ball on the floor, felt the defense shift over, saw Sabonis, who was open right underneath the basket, and got it to him. That growth from Keon Ellis got me really excited. Like, it's crazy to see his development over the last couple of years. We saw him his first year primarily in the G League, a little bit last year in the G League, and to see where he is now, where he is like a foundational piece, so important to what the Kings do. And if they have success, it's been great. I'm happy for him.
Yeah, and I love that when we talked about Malik Monk being in that starting role, what that was going to mean for the bench. And now we're seeing the Kings bench get better and better. Not just because you have someone being that instant energy, that instant spark that you were going to need if you didn't have Malik Monk coming off the bench, but you're also seeing that depth being put into place, even if you're not seeing a lot from it tonight. I mean, obviously all the bench points are from someone like Keon Ellis, but Trey Lyles also adding that energy, sacrificing his body, only got 1 charge, even though he went for 2, but his foot was on.
Dude, and that's not just a normal charge.
No,
you're
Zion?
taking on a Brahma bull that is ready to run you over.
Yep. So anyways.
How many people would be like, I'll take a charge from Zion?
You'd have to pay me a lot of money.
How much?
Probably like at least $1 million.
I think if I was on the floor, just my natural instinct of I'm just a dog. Yeah. I would just do it for free.
No, you wouldn't.
Just I have the competitive spirit.
You're so full of shit. No, you wouldn't.
You don't think I would step in and try to take a charge from Zion?
No, you wouldn't. Not from that man. And if you did
Morgan,
that
it's
in a
just you don't
game,
understand.
then you're like weird.
It's not weird. I play one way.
No, and then you're asking
I
to go to
play
the
one
hospital.
way.
You're asking to go to the hospital, and then you're just being stupid. Like, have fun with that medical bill.
Just know the difference. Morgan needs a paycheck to take a charge. I will do it for the good of the
All
game.
these guys get a paycheck to
for
take
the
the
love
charge.
of the game.
All
for
these
my
guys,
teammates
they get
having back.
millions to take that charge. I would do the same shit. Put
We
me
never
in.
do this early, but can we just get to our simply the best player of the game?
Yes.
I don't think I've ever seen voting like this before.
Oh,
Who was the player of the game? Was it Keon Ellis, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Domantas Sabonis? 93% of the votes go to our guy, Keon Ellis. Keon Ellis, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 7-11 from three-point land. Our simply the best player of the game, presented by our friends over at Northwest Exteriors. You need windows. There's no better place to go. They're celebrating 30 years in the business. Go to their showroom, check out their windows. They do HVAC as well, and they, of course, bring you the simply the best player of the game. You know why? Because they are simply the best.
Simply the best.
Trust
Northwest.
Good job.
Anyway, Keon Ellis.
Wow.
Yeah, he was
and good
fantastic.
for him. He deserves it. He deserves it all. I love
And
it.
Biggity Blake says change the name to 3 on.
Yeah.
I said that post game. I thought, was that a force by me?
No,
He
you
liked it,
said
huh?
it to him. You cut me off just to make sure. How dare you call him Keon? His name is 3 on. I think he was even like,
I think he was like, yeah. I think he nodded like, yeah. Excuse yourself, Morgan.
Yeah, he said, say my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Keon Ellis, just a huge night from him all around. And again, you just love to see it because you love seeing it come off the bench.
Yep.
And we already knew what he could do defensively, but seeing that added offensively was just so fun to see. When we were talking Zach LaVine, it's just irking at me. Did we mention his free throws?
I did. I said,
Okay.
11
I was
11
just
at the
making
line. No,
sure.
and he was, again, his just aggressiveness in that second half. And
making sure.
I think he's just got to get more comfortable. I guess that's the only way to put it. I mean,
Yeah.
we've seen Zach LaVine get buckets in this league. I think the one thing that people think he's like a chucker sometimes. Dude, this year he hasn't been. Like, he really has played in the flow of Chicago's offense, and I think he's trying to play in the flow here. But I think when he goes back and watches this game, he'll see opportunities he had to maybe put his fingerprints on the game earlier in that first half. So, and look, if that's our nitpick with him, is like, hey, he's passing up good looks. Okay, like, you can turn that up a little bit. I think he can turn it up. I'd rather have that than him going, God, Zach LaVine's taking 30 shots a game and no
There's
one
no
else is touching the
flow.
ball.
Yeah, no.
So I feel like he's trying to do the right thing out there.
I agree. Just making sure we got to that. And now I want to move on to another person, just because we're talking about Keon Ellis coming off the bench, Malik Monk. And I wanted to mention him pretty early on, just because we heard some of his post-game audio, and something that really stood out to me when he said, I'm the point guard. I got to find ways to make teammates better, to do all the little things and not just worry about, scoring. I bring this up because I just love how he has adjusted and accepted that role to the fullest, even though we've all been talking about, okay, the Kings might need a true point guard or someone else to handle the ball out there, or even if it is a backup. But he's done such a great job of just shifting his mindset to really understand and appreciate what it takes to really take on being a point guard in the NBA. And with this team.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit last podcast. It's like we spend so much time talking about the adjustment for Zach playing in a new spot, or, some of the other guys.
Yeah.
But it's also, this is a big adjustment for Malik. Like, there's more responsibility, and, he's got to kind of learn on the fly and understand that defenses are going to handle him differently. Like, when Fox was here, Fox, even though if you don't view him like as a true point guard, like he's a scoring guard, whatever, he could still handle the rock and make things happen. He was explosive. Like, you really had to pay attention to him and what he was able to do, right? Getting downhill, all that stuff in transition. Malik, he can handle. Well, without Fox here, LaVine's game is just a little different. It's not that he can't handle. He's just not that type of guy. Like, he's not breaking down a defense like that. He's more of a guy in transition. He can get to his spots.
Not even just in transition. It's just like when he's like speedy. Oh, go on.
Yeah, I know, and he could attack. Yeah, but he's got a different game than Fox. Is my point. Like, I'm not looking at like, hey, Zach LaVine's going to handle and make shit happen. He did have 7 assists in this game. I thought he made the right decisions. It's just a different flow. So the defenses are more focused on Malik. They are definitely more focused on taking away that 2-man game. And, it's also just opponents, too. Like, you're seeing the last couple of games some smaller lineups out there. And so I think the Kings needed to do more of they needed to focus less on trying to, like, force Sabonis the ball in mismatches at times. And one adjustment they made tonight that I saw a couple of times that led to good things for Sacramento is bringing up Sabonis higher in the pick and rolls, right? So many times when Malik and Sabonis go in that 2-man action, it's Sabonis rolling and Monk driving and trying to get that pocket pass to the floater. Well, they brought up Sabonis higher up, so it got Monk in a spot to either get downhill, and Sabonis not necessarily looking to dive for the ball.
More space in
and then
the
they got it
paint.
to Keegan. Keegan, they swung it around. It led to an open 3 ball. You just have to mix it up a little bit. So everybody's adjusting is my point.
Yeah, and even looking at Domas in his game, when we were talking about that and being like, ooh, can you find a way to get him the ball a little bit more? How many attempts did he have? I don't have the box score right in front of me. It's all the way at
we have
the
a different setup on the road right now. So Sabonis was 8 of 13.
Okay.
He had 16 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists.
Yeah, and again, it's just you think about how dominant he can be. And now, let's just even go into tomorrow's game. Zion won't be playing, right? He doesn't.
We don't think he will. I'd assume not. He hasn't been playing back-to-backs.
Fair way to put it. Yes, we don't think he will be. And let's just say Zion isn't playing. This has got to be one of those games where Domas also finds a way to get his, and not just get his because he's cleaning up rebounds, but the team working on different ways to get him the basketball, not force him the basketball, but create in different actions with Domas. It doesn't always just have to be in the 2-man game. It could be with other things flowing around, and then Domas ends up open. But either way, I want to see a little bit more of that tomorrow because I want to make sure, because he can dominate, and especially against a team that isn't going to have all their bigs in there. You got to push. You got to go.
Next guy we should talk about, DeMar DeRozan, 24 points. He had 6 assists, 4 rebounds. He was 9 of 17 shooting. How about 3 of 6 from downtown? He's really played effective, efficient basketball, especially knocking down threes. I thought another thing he did great in this first half, in the first half of this game, was the Pelicans were doubling him a lot. You see a lot of teams throw doubles at him, making the quick decisions, and it led to open looks. I mean, I think that's something you love to see is like DeMar not necessarily forcing it. He picks his spots.
Yeah.
He tries to seek out the mismatches. You saw him against Alvarado tonight a couple of times, but I thought he moved the ball well. Every one of the starters tonight had at least 4 assists. You had 4 from Muck, 7 from LaVine, 5 from Sabonis, 5 from Keegan, and 6 from DeRozan.
Well, and speaking of Keegan's game, because he only had 6 points, but you look those 5 assists and the 7 rebounds, and he's obviously playing 34 minutes because
good defense.
Exactly. And doing some of the other little things. Now, if the Kings are losing this game and you're not getting the same offensive punch off the bench from someone like Keon, you are going to start looking at someone like Keegan, and you're going to be like, oh, is he not getting his whatever? I think this team, I don't think this has anything to do with like Keegan not playing his best basketball on the offensive end. I think this team is still trying to figure things out, and Keegan has always been one to be more passive anyway. So then while they're still trying to figure out some of the new guys who are also being passive, everyone's just got to make sure to be confident and keep looking to get theirs, because that's the only way you're going to grow together on the court, especially without having any practices.
One thing that was negative tonight, I thought, especially in that third quarter, the defense. My goodness. They did have some stretches where after they were getting shredded, they answered a little bit. Like, I think Monk had a rear contest block. Sabonis broke up a couple of lobs. DeMar had a strip. But this has been a theme where, like, they're just getting shredded. Perimeter defense has been really bad.
Yeah.
Like, I thought Monk tonight, like, I'm like, dude, like, Alvarado is torching you. DeRozan had some tough moments. LaVine. And then you're in a spot, especially in that first half, where Sabonis has 3 fouls in the first half, and he's not even trying to contest. Like, it's just,
He
I just
didn't-
want to pick up the fourth foul. And I got to be honest, I hate that. I'm sorry. Like, you have to play basketball, and you just have to be as disciplined as possible and be vertical. But there was like times where he wasn't even trying to, like, he was just like, oh, let it
I think
happen.
Bruce Brown like got his own rebound
Dude.
or something, and then he just had to keep his arms straight up without being physical. And it's like usually he was again. The refs were calling some fouls at that point, and it was interesting because then it felt like it changed later on in the game where the refs were calling a lot of fouls for the Kings later on. But my point to that being, I think he was just filling out the moment, filling out the vibe of the officiating. He was filling out the vibe of people trying to attack him and go for him. And he was like, no, I'm not getting some bullshit ticky-tack foul called just because I'm at 3 and everyone knows it. But I'm with you. It's either play or put the next guy in because now you have a next guy.
Yeah, and 70 points in the paint is just an outrageous number. And we've seen that a little too much from Sacramento. They were better. Their fourth quarter defense was better. They held the Pelicans at just 25 points, 9 for 26 shooting, 2 of 9 from downtown in that fourth quarter. I thought Keegan's defense tonight was really strong. They really made life challenging. I mean, Trey Murphy, who's been on a heater, he was 2 of 7 from the field in that fourth quarter. He ends up 6 of 16 with 19 points. So that was like a really good sign. And yeah, I think Keegan's just shown he can switch, defend on almost anybody out there, and at least put in some good work. But the defense, you just hope it can get a little better because you can't get shredded and then allowing penetration. It just leads to bad things. It just leads to really bad things.
Or
You
just
take on a good team,
Easy buckets.
it's going to be really problematic. And we knew this was going to be an issue. We knew it was, but I think the offense can play even better.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you. And so that's why, I would say even for how close it was, even the score at the half and everything, I was happy ultimately with how the Kings ended up playing, how I feel like we keep seeing growth game by game by game for this team. So, another one tomorrow.
And now you're seeing it 28 and 26 on the year.
Okay,
with a
now.
chance for 4 in a row tomorrow. We got to look ahead to that game and talk about the newest member of the Sacramento Kings, Markelle Fultz. Yeah, the Kings agreed to a deal with him. We'll talk about that, but we got to mention that tonight's podcast presented by our presenting sponsor, Sentivo Vineyards and Winery.
Oh, how we love Sentivo wines. I mean, seriously, they sent over so many different bottles, and
Wish I had some now.
I do wish I had some now, but I've tried so many different ones, and every single one is amazing. And on top of that, they are amazing people. And so we just feel so lucky to be partnered with them. They have a new tasting room coming in the Fairfield area, opening in spring 2025. So make sure to head to sentivovineyards.com if you're looking to become a wine member, if you're looking at their wines, or if you just want to shop and check it out.
Appreciate their support of the Deuce and Mo podcast. Also presented tonight by our friends over at Golden One Credit Union. We are
one.
all one.
I'm sorry.
Okay, just let me do it, okay?
Okay.
This is my time to shine. You
Okay.
just had this.
You're right.
Also presented by our friends over at Golden One Credit Union. We are all one at Golden One. Hey, it pays to be a Gold One member and a Kings fan. You can join up for 50% off Kings home games, 15% off merch. Are you kidding me? Just scan that QR code, go to their website to learn more about that, or just go to goldenonecreditunion.com. You talk about the perks. You get you wave your Golden One card of the game, you may get a seat upgrade. So many perks. Go to goldenonecreditunion.com, the official credit union of the Sacramento Kings. Also presented tonight by our friends over at Medic Ambulance.
Oh, I'm so glad I get to join in again. Thank you. We're thrilled to team up with Medic Ambulance, the trusted name in emergency medical services across Northern California. From life-saving responses to being the team behind the scenes at your favorite events, Medic is there to serve. Seriously, they are there because I've seen their truck, their van. What is it? The ambulance car?
Yeah.
What are those called?
An ambulance, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you nailed it.
An ambulance. I've seen them now on the road and stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they really are everywhere. Medic is the official emergency medical response partner of Sac Republic.
Go!
and Sac State Athletics. Learn more at medicambulance.net.
Also presented tonight by our friends over at
Rocket Money. It's a new year, and that means it's the perfect time to get organized, set goals, and prioritize what matters most. And for me, that's making sure I get my finances right. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscription, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings.
Rocket Money has over 5 million users and have saved a total of 500 million in canceled subscriptions. What? Saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/game
on.
That's rocketmoney.com/game
on.
rocketmoney.com/game
on.
All right, Morgan Reagan.
What?
Let's talk about the breaking news that happened like literally while we were doing postgame. Shalom Sharania over at ESPN reporting that the Sacramento Kings have agreed to a deal with free agent point guard and former number 1 pick Markelle Fultz. Think about that draft. He went number 1. Fox went 5 in that draft.
Ooh.
Let's trade it out the 5th for the number 1, baby. Anyway, Markelle Fultz last played with the Orlando Magic. He has not played in the league this year. And the Kings needed some help at the point guard spot. 6'4", 6'9" wingspan.
26 years old.
I think the first thing I think about with Markelle is his ability to defend. And shooting, not great, but he is a really good defender. Active hands. He plays physical. I mean, I could see if he's out there with Keon Ellis, like that backcourt's going to be tough to score on.
And that's, you not only need defense, you also need a point guard, another point guard, right? And again, not sure how this is all going to fit as of today. When you look at the entire Sacramento Kings roster, you go, who gets whose minutes? What goes where? But it's a good problem or challenge or whatever you want to call it to be in. I mean, this is what you should have going on. You should have enough depth where if anyone does go down or if anyone's not giving you what you want, you think about whatever game that was against the Pelicans when they started out. And Doug Christie wasn't happy and shoved in the entire bench, and then it was Jake LaRavia that saved the day.
I also just think there's an opportunity to give him minutes. Like, I mean, you can play him. I mean, at that point, you would be going, 10 deep potentially.
I know.
Right now they're going 9 deep. Tonight they played Ellis almost 30. Valanciunas played 15. LaRavia only played 11. Lyles played 9. But I think there's an opportunity for him to get 10 to 15 minutes in a game. And having a guy that can just handle and organize things would be a plus. It's something we talked about on the podcast where you're like, all right, you don't really have that like traditional point guard. Not that a traditional point guard really exists anymore, but you know what I mean? Like
that you can just rely on.
Yeah,
I guess.
You just need a guy to handle for a little bit. And the Kings lost, not only when they traded Fox, they traded Jordan McLaughlin, who could have done that in a way, but he also didn't have great size. He could shoot the 3, but not the biggest guy. I think I like Markelle's ability to guard and his size at that position to play 10, 15 minutes a night. And, like, he played on a playoff team last year. He played in playoff games last year for the Orlando Magic. I think he's a good teammate. He's a good player. He's overcome a lot of adversity in his career after all the injuries with Philly and what happened there. It felt like he found a home in Orlando. They moved on, and now he's getting an opportunity with Sacramento. To me, it's like that ultimate, like,
low risk.
Yeah.
Yep.
High reward guy.
Yep.
Like, if it doesn't work, you're not like, oh my God, we're set back for years. It's like, no, like, bring him in. He's got some experience. He's a vet now. I like the pickup.
Yeah, I'm with you. Keep adding to the depth in different ways. And, like, I mean, we talked about adding to the depth where you're going to get instant impact players out there. I mean, we talked about Jake LaRavia and why we were so excited about someone like him. Obviously, Jonas Valanciunas being that backup big and what we saw him do tonight when Zion would come into the paint. I mean, that was fun to see. So you have these guys that you're starting to already depend on, rely on out there from your bench. Adding someone else that is, like we said, low risk and in a position, in a role as a point guard where you need to be adding that. And I kept saying this, 26 years old. I just like that he's in that age range too, where it's like, that's where everyone kind of is on this team. So you kind of know what you're going to get.
Last year, he played 43 games with Orlando, playing about 21 minutes a night. The season before was probably his healthiest year in years. He played 60 games for Orlando that season. In the story that Shams Charania just posted a bit ago, he says after rehabbing from injury in the offseason, Fultz generated interest from multiple teams in recent months and narrowed narrowed it down to a couple of finalists before reaching an agreement with the Kings.
Ooh.
Fultz is healthy and ready to go, according to his agent. All right, so we'll see. And the last note that's interesting that they put in the bottom, just interesting from a stat perspective, the Kings are 15-8 with Doug Christie as head coach.
Ooh.
15-8. Mike was 13-18.
Crazy.
Crazy. I was thinking about that from Doug's perspective for a second. 15-18. Think about what Doug's had to deal with taking over in the middle of a season with assistant coaches that were Mike Brown guys.
Yep.
Okay. That's challenging.
Yes.
Taking over a team that was losing, that maybe lost belief, that wasn't feeling great. Oh, and then you also had to deal with the fact that De'Aaron Fox, his future was just all over the place and playing out right in front of you. And you have to implement new guys after the trade deadline. And they're 15-8. Like, pretty good run for Doug. I know there's a long way to go, but this is a good start for him.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I like to see. I like that. Not only you're seeing the vibes around this team, but you're also seeing that it's translating into actually some winning basketball right now, and especially when they dug their hole deep.
Also, going back to Markelle for a second, it's worth noting too. You have to think this is a sign that Devin Carter is going to get a lot of G League run now.
Sure.
And I think he just needs run. He needs experience.
Either.
I know he did an interview with Sean Cunningham today after Stockton Kings practice, and he's like, "Yeah, I haven't played a lot of basketball in the last, since March of last year because of my injury, and so to get healthy and just to go out there and get reps, he needs the minutes right now.
Yeah.
So hopefully he could thrive in that and show some growth because he wasn't really effective when he was playing for Sacramento.
No.
Aside from like that one game in Boston.
And even getting the small minutes that he was getting, it's like, he needs to get everything down from the condition. And that's what he was getting in the G. Obviously, he was dominating there. And that's just what you need to see a little bit more of. And just him make sure that he not only feels good conditioning-wise, but also with his confidence.
Can we give a shout out to everyone watching us live
I know,
right now, dude? You
basketball sickos.
Basketball sickos. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us as we talk about this Kings-Pelicans game tonight. If you have not done it yet, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. All it does is help our channel grow. 20.3 thousand, 20,300 subs.
Thanks, God. Oh my
on
gosh,
YouTube,
that
which is a
keeps
great number.
growing.
But
That's
Morgan,
awesome.
like literally after the show, is like, okay, you can hype to 20.3, but Deuce, like, I'm asking for 100K.
No, I'm not.
And,
I
like,
literally don't
if
care.
you don't get
I
there,
don't
like,
give a shit.
it doesn't matter to me. I'm like, okay.
No, that's not true. I appreciate all the support, all the growth.
Yeah.
I would never care. But if you do get 100, you do get a plaque. But I literally have never said that to Deuce. So he's lying to you. Appreciate all of you guys with all your support, following us, subs, thumbs up. Thank you.
What other things should we or haven't we talked about tonight's game specifically before we move on to tomorrow?
To tomorrow?
Tomorrow. It's Damar's days.
I was like, wait, did you really just say tomorrow?
Well, he's probably dropping 35.
Tomorrow, I love ya. Tomorrow, you're always a shot away.
What's your Keon song that you had for us tonight?
It's hard to sing, but it's
Go ahead.
play defense, play for the year, play for the fans, play for the cheer. Play defense just for today. Maybe tomorrow you'll get to play in every game.
Come on, everybody, sing it with me.
Keon, play till they can't deny you. And there's everyone unfollowing as we wow.
I like that one.
I know you do.
I lost my voice because of that one. I better save my voice.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in San. I'm shrinking, by the way, at the moment. Do you see? I'm just like, what? Hi. What'd you do if this was like the dynamic?
Hi, everyone.
Hey, it's Mark Jones and Katie Christensen. Funny.
Kind of. Yeah, that is.
Thank you.
A
Thank
bit.
you. Yeah, we're gonna be in San Francisco from today through Monday. We're hanging out for All-Star Weekend, my first ever All-Star experience. Can't wait for that.
Mine too, technically.
Oh, you went to Charlotte.
I did. That was
different. I get it. But we have not been to All-Star Saturday night and all
Yeah.
that. And All-Star Saturday night, and we go to the game. I can't wait for that.
excited.
All right, so next up for the Sacramento Kings, tomorrow night against these same Pelicans. Zion Williamson, we don't expect him to play. He has not played in back-to-backs. And I said this to Morgan on our postgame. Like, if I'm a Pelicans fan, I'm a little frustrated. Like, this guy is seemingly healthy. He's in great shape. He drops 40 against Sacramento in the first game in 28 minutes. Tonight, he had 33 in 28 minutes. Looks like a force. They will not play him more than 28 minutes. They have capped his minutes. They will not play him more than that. And I guess they're trying to think big picture, draft pick or his health, whatever. But, like, this guy's finally ready and willing. Like, let him cook out there a little bit. I feel for the guy that, hey, all right, you get to 28 minutes. Sorry. It's like, dude, I'm dominating. We could win this game if you kept me out there.
Yeah, I don't know. I understand that, but I also understand just from the track record of him getting hurt and also this team trying to be like, we want him to obviously get healthy, gain the conditioning, all the different things, but we also want to be able to keep him on the floor. Because who cares if we get another big draft pick and then we can't do anything, we can't pair it with anything, you know? So, like, I understand the worry, the thought process, but I'm not where Deuce is with it. But I guess as a competitor, as someone that, like, played basketball in my life, I would not accept that. I would be pissed and I would be asking for a trade.
Yeah.
I would not be a happy person.
Morgan,
I would be like, I want to be out there and playing. Like, I'm the health. Like, look at my body. Look at my body.
He had 33 points, 9 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals, 13 of 18 shooting. So 28 plus 28 is what, 56 minutes? 56 minutes. In 56 minutes against the Kings this year, he has 73 points.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So tomorrow you take on the same Pelicans team, likely
Yeah.
without Zion. I'm going to say this right now. It's like you need to handle business, but it's also one of those games that is tricky, man. It's tricky. It's the final game before the break. And if the Kings think about tonight, if they're like, we get a break tomorrow, no Zion. Okay, we'll coast. Then you're going to lose. And no better example of this than tonight in Utah. Lakers played the Jazz the other night in LA, beat them. Tonight they played the game in Utah. Utah put up 131 points on them, 131 to 119. You can't be punting games right now. You can't. And especially with how tight the West is, with all these teams around Sacramento, the Warriors, the Wolves, the Suns, trying to make a push, you got to get tomorrow. And it's going to be like a mental test in anything. Like, yes, you get a break coming up. None of you guys have to go to All-Star Weekend, but we have 48 minutes of basketball to play. Lock the fuck in.
I'm with you.
I'm going to cut that, send it over to the team.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be like, wow, now I'm inspired. Lock the fuck in. Yeah, that's obviously got to be the mindset. And it is difficult when you get this close to All-Star break. It's difficult for anyone. Like, even for us, like, we're going to have a little bit of time to just breathe, like, not have a game every night.
Got friends in town.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like, I need a martini. I want one bad. But I don't get it until I finish my job at a high level. So I got to make sure to lock in and finish strong tomorrow.
Final thoughts for you?
Final thoughts. I am curious how the Kings are going to approach tomorrow. With this new look King squad, and if there is no Zion, it's got to be domination. You've got to you got to use it as like your last practice before the All-Star break, right? Where you're just still trying to work on things with your teammates and trying to execute things at a high level. So we'll be back here tomorrow, but that's pretty much my final thought.
Yeah, I'm with you. My final thought is close the right way. This was a win that, again, wasn't perfect. There were issues with defense and some turnovers early, but I feel like each game you're starting to see more and more good signs. I really would love to see a Zach LaVine breakout night from 3.
Yes, that'd be great.
It's wild. It is honestly pretty absurd that in his time with Sacramento now, in his, 5 games with the Kings, is now 5 games. He was 5 of 26 coming into this game. So now he is 7 of 34 from 3.
Yeah.
It's insane. And it's going to drop, but it's just like we joke about this every time a guy comes to Sacramento who's a good 3-point shooter. It's like, oh, wait, he forgot how to shoot threes. I think he'll be fine. He'll get more comfortable. I just hope he can do it starting tomorrow night. And then, you know what? Rest, get your mind ready.
Uh-huh.
You've gone through a lot. People have been traded. A coach has been fired. You've been through ups and downs. Like, get away from the game and enjoy life a little bit.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys. We'll be back again tomorrow night to do this again. We appreciate you joining us on a little quick pod tonight. We love you guys so much. Make sure to hit the comments after in the YouTube. In the YouTube? What's that mean? That sounds like such an old person. I think make sure you do
you push the comment button?
Dude, second podcast in a row where I'm making fun of old people. I shouldn't have said old people. I should have said technologically challenged people. Because
Okay.
there's young people who are stuck with technology too, dude.
It's true.
Come on, man.
Yeah, be better.
Okay, let me try that again.
Okay.
What is in the YouTube? What's that mean? Am I some like technologically like challenged person?
Yeah.
What
There you go.
do us a favor. Drop some comments below. Talk about this game, how you're feeling about things. We love you guys, but we got to
You
go.
all have a wonderful rest of your night, basketball sickos. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.